What's going on, everybody? This is a topic that I kind of want to talk about a little bit. This one here is not DC related, not Marvel related, but more so pop culture related. This affects really everything that we as fans of film and TV and even video games may take for granted in a way. This affects everybody who just scours the internet for news and information that we take in on a daily basis. You know, there are many sites that we all take a look at, whether it's ScreenRant, whether it's CBR, whether it's MovieWeb, whether it's Collider. We all peruse these websites from time to time. Now, there are some of the bigger outlets. There's outlets like The Hollywood Reporter, there's Deadline, but then there's smaller outlets. There's things like, I just said, ScreenRant and Collider and MovieWeb and CBR. Those, I'd say, would be about like 2 steps below what the big ones are. Now, these sites specifically typically will do, more editorial type of articles. They'll do news, but they get to the news after the big sites get the news. They're kind of the ones that report saying Hollywood Reporter is saying this or Deadline is saying this. That's kind of what these websites do. But there's an interesting report that the Wrap put out just the other day. Now, the Wrap, I would say, is not quite as big as the Hollywood Reporter and Deadline, but they're definitely not down the chain or down the rings as the other ones that I mentioned. They're probably in the middle, maybe closer to the top, but not way down there. But the Wrap put out this really, really interesting article here. And Valnet Blues, how online porn pioneer Hassan Youssef built a digital media sweatshop. Now, Valnet is the company that owns all these websites: ScreenRant, Collider, MovieWeb, CBR. Now, he at one time owned, I guess, Pornhub and Brazzers, however you say it. But he now owns these companies. Apparently, and I'm not going to read this whole article. I mean, it's a long article, so I'm not going to read it all. But there is apparently a lawsuit that's being thrown towards Valnet right now for essentially underpaying their contractors or employees. The details aren't 100% here, at least from what I can tell. But for being underpaid for what they're doing. Now, here's quickly a little bit of what's happening. So, essentially what happens is Valnet will come in and they will scoop up a company. We'll say ScreenRant. They'll come in and they'll scoop up a company like ScreenRant. And when they come in, they'll say, oh, ScreenRant has all these employees. And typically what they'll do is they will eliminate the employees. And they will then start to contract out for all the positions, or most of the positions. And specifically the positions that they contract out for are writing positions. That makes things a little cheaper for them. Now, when they do that, you then negotiate how much with a contractor, how much you'll get paid for a article that you write. Now, for someone who has written articles for websites in the past, I at one point in time wrote for a hockey website, I wrote for pop culture website, and I also have my own website. I understand how difficult and how much time it can take to actually properly write an article for a website, and you can take anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4, sometimes longer, even a day, to write a good article. And depending on how in-depth you want it get with an article, if you want it to be a very, very good article, a lot of research and a lot of details, it can take you a while. Well, according to these reports and accusations, a lot of this research that gets done, these contractors don't get reimbursed for. So if you're going out and doing this research, like if you go and watch a movie, if you have to go to the movies and watch a movie, you don't get reimbursed for that ticket. You don't get reimbursed for the travel. That's all on your dime. All you get paid for is that review, that article that you write. So you're getting paid just for the article, not the time or hours spent on writing the article. Now, here's even like crazier part about it. Now, there is a guy specifically who talks about how much he basically gets paid for writing articles here. And it turns out that he gets paid about $5 an hour. He says for him to write an article typically takes him about 3 hours. He writes about 3 articles a day, and he gets $15 an article, roughly, something like that. That's wild. That is absolutely wild. Now, how many articles does a site like, say ScreenRant put out in a day? Well, let's kind of take a look here, because I mean, their site, we can look right here, exclusive stories, and just go more. These are all 2 days ago. I don't even know how to look at this. There's sites. Another thing that I've noticed is ever since these sites have become owned by a single company, their sites are just trash. They are absolute trash. Like, there's no easy way to look at them. You take a look, like, there's a bunch of lists, 10 movie characters that totally get what they what they want, what they deserved. It's all trash. There's a lot of lists on here. Like, don't get me wrong, lists can be fun, but when you do lists on a daily, weekly, like multiple lists on a daily basis or weekly basis, it gets kind of old after a while. Here we go. This is where we want it latest. So you got 1, 2, 3. Like in the last 5 minutes, you got 4 articles in the last 5 minutes. 5, 6, 7 in the last 20. 8, 9, 10 in the last 25. Like that's how many articles are dropping in a day. Like, this is just in the last 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour. Like, that is insane how many articles they're dropping. Look, here's another listicle. Another listicle. So there's 2 lists that are out. 3 lists that are out in one day. 4 lists that are out in one day. Like, you could just go through this, and this is the type of stuff that these websites are putting out. They're not even like quality type of articles that are getting put out. I don't even know why people would be going to these sites anymore. But you sit here and you start to see what's going on. And so you may be wondering, like, why did I bring this up? Like, why do I want to talk about this? And it's not because I want to call out anything in particular, because I know that there's people out there who genuinely want to be writers in this realm. They want to write for websites. They want to be part of the pulp culture realm. They want to be entertainment writers. They want to be commentators. They want to be reviewers. I get that. I know that they want to do that. There's part of me that wants to do it myself. I mean, that's why I have this channel. That's why I do what I'm doing here. Yeah, it's just a hobby for me, but it's something I love to do. I bring this up because us as fans, us as people who watch this stuff, who partake in reading these websites and things, we have to start to question, is it worth going to these types of websites? Is it worth utilizing the information from these websites as opposed to going to the Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, or the bigger sites? Because a lot of times, I'm going to be honest, when I am looking for information or news stories for my show, I'll go to CBR, I'll go to ScreenRant, I'll go to Collider. I'll go there, and in those articles, it'll say, according to the Hollywood Reporter, blah, 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 blah. And I'll just use that. instead of going to the Hollywood Reporter and getting the actual information. Because there was a part of me that was like, you know what? I want to root for the little guy. I want to root for the small little website and kind of boost them up a little bit. But maybe they aren't really the little guy. Maybe they're the guy that is not so worthy of getting my clicks or even your clicks. The way that they treat these, contractors. Now, don't get me wrong, these contractors should know better, but some of them don't. Some of them don't. They're starting out and they see, hey, I can write an article and make money? And they think $15 an article, I can do that. But as you read this article at the wrap, you're going to start to see, the more you go through this article, you're going to see just how ridiculous and demanding these asks are. It's not like, hey, $15 an article, get me an article when you can. No, it's, we want 3 articles a day. We want 15 to 20 articles every few days. We want 30 articles a week. Like, they want crazy amounts of output from you, or they cancel your contract. And then not only that, that's not even the worst part, but if they cancel a contract with you, you then get put on what's called like a blacklist, where then you can't even work for ScreenRant, Collider, MovieWeb, any of their other outlets. You can't even work for any of them. So if you go there and it's just like you're struggling to get that output and you're like, I just can't keep up. Hey, I need to exit this contract. And they're like, fine, you can exit the contract, but you're put on a blacklist. Where else can you go? Because they own a large portion of these sites that you could go work at. And that is absolutely insane and absurd. It's not fair. Now, I encourage everybody, and I know not everyone has the ability or know how to do it, but I encourage everyone to start their own. But you're not going to get your voice out there as much as possible or as much as you'd like to, probably. It's hard to start your own. It's hard to start a YouTube channel. It's hard to start a website and get the notoriety and get your voice out there and get the things out there that you want. Look, my website isn't doing good. I mean, it's there. It's an outlet for me to post things. And sure, I get maybe 30, 40 people, people on there a day. Whoop-de-doo. But that's not my intent. My intent is not to be the Wrap. My intent is not to be the Hollywood Reporter. It's kind of there just for an outlet for me. My YouTube, on the other hand, is a little bit different. My YouTube, I want that to grow. But again, it's not my main outlet. Like, that's not my main source of income. It's not my main source. It is a hobby for me. It's something I enjoy doing. But there's people out there who want this to be their main source of income. They want it to be their career. And because of that, it's hard for them to do that stuff. So they need this kind of thing. And when they handle it like this, that's just baffling to me that they can treat these people like that. It's baffling to me. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Is this something that would turn you off from utilizing ScreenRant, Collider, and all these other sites? Are you going to stop using them? Is this something that you want to read more into? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this and how you think this should be handled. Like, do you think there should be something that goes on with this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And if any of you are out there who are part of this and who have seen firsthand what this is doing to you, reach out to me, because I'd love to get you on the show and kind of pick your brain and see possibly like what is going on. I'd love to hear firsthand what has happened to you if you're somebody who has actually had to deal with this. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe. With all that said, I'll catch you all later.